Hi, Justin Popovich here, bestqualityplr.com. In this video, basically what I want to do is walk you through a few different content implementation strategies, specifically using PLR. And this is really, it's kind of unscripted in the sense that what I'd like to do is take a product from the Best Quality PLR catalog. In this case, it's called Build a Following University, where it's more than a PLR product. It's a series of products, so it's a fairly large content package. And then I'm going to show you the actual PLR behind the scenes if you were to own a product like this, and then talk through some specific ideas that you could put into play potentially either with this system or really any PLR that you own, that just gets you thinking about ways to implement content, rebrandable content like PLR. And hopefully when you watch this, obviously you're gonna have to apply what I say to your world and to your business. But I'm just hoping that this is a good idea generation session for you, and that it maybe sparks up some ideas of how you could potentially use both our PLR products and any that you might own to date. So, Build a Following University is the example that I'm going to be using, like I said. It is essentially a PLR product that teaches, it's a huge training system that teaches the end buyer, the student, how to build an online following. And it's basically structured around a 52-part autoresponder that talks about the basics of building a following. And then it uses 4 full PLR products covering essential topics: list building, social media influence, paying for traffic, and using Google Hangouts. So you can see it, the sales letter itself for this product is pretty massive. But what I have here is actually, if you were to own this product, this is what it looks like behind the scenes. So there's a PLR license, there's a little welcome video from me, and then a little welcome guide that trains you. But what I want to actually focus on here are the 6 folders full of content that this PLR product contains. So again, you might already have a bunch of PLR sitting on your hard drive that you could apply some of these same ideas to. With this product, the first folder is called Fundamentals, and if you look inside of here, there is an intro report, which is like a little kind of like 1.5, 2-pager that just kind of says, hey, welcome to this program. Here's what building a following online is really all about, and in the coming weeks and months, you're going to learn X, Y, and Z. And then there's a 52-part autoresponder that teaches all of those things. Now, this 52-part autoresponder is a very significant piece of content. Let me open it up using Pages, which is on the Mac. Now, if you're on a PC, no worries. You could do all the things that you see here. Just you'd be using Microsoft Word instead of Pages. But you can see this is a 15,000 word document, and it's an autoresponder series, meaning that it's basically set up to go week 1 through week 52. So week 1 has a subject line, fishing for customers, and then there's a whole bunch of content in here that you could put into your autoresponder. And the idea being, you could set up a landing page or a sales funnel saying, hey, I'm going to teach you how to build an online following. Once you sign up, you're going to get a sequence of emails from me, and I'm going to teach you a few tips and tricks every week. So this would be your subject for week 1, and then the subsequent emails would be week 2, and so forth. Now, here's the thing. Because this is PLR, you have this in a document already, so you could turn this immediately by saving it as a PDF. You could turn this into a 52-tip report, get your little e-cover done on Fiverr, and sell that as an ebook for, you could sell that for $17 or $27, and that would be a fairly good bargain for the amount of content being shared in here. There's 52 tips or mini chapters really, and a lot of it is talking about some significant things, especially for people that don't have a following yet online. Here's another thing you could do. So I'm going to go back down and let's just randomly pick a week here. Week number 4. The subject is planning a highly targeted squeeze page. So we've got a little section here saying if you haven't signed up for a list service like Aweber, make sure you do that. And we're also recommending you could use Constant Contact, MailChimp, GetResponse. And then here are some action steps and a little bit of a closing remark. That's a half page of content. That itself could be turned into a cool little PDF report. So let me highlight all this text. Now, I'm not going to put my name and my website on it. Actually, yeah, let me do that. So I can copy that text by itself. Okay, I'm going to just do a copy paste. And then in Mac, I'm going to use Pages again. And Pages is cool. It's similar to Microsoft Word actually. If you're on a PC, you can do similar things here. But with Pages, I can use some templates. Like for example, let's go with a newsletter template. Here's a newsletter template this one looks kind of cool, and it lays out a document but with some graphics and artwork. I can change this stuff or I can leave it as is. So I could change this title right here to be planning a highly targeted squeeze page. So take that, paste it in here, center it, maybe change it back to a white because it's sort of targeted for that. And now I've got this little thing, this title right here, and then I can change the content right here into the content that is in the little intro here. So highlight that, paste that text in, and it doesn't quite fill up, so I'll increase the font size so it fills it right up. I'll have to play around with that a little bit. I'll leave it as is for now. Remove that little header there, and actually here's something I can do. Remove this line, and then I can move this thing up. And now I have more space to increase my text, my font size here, which is kind of cool. And then I might want to put a little thing here saying a squeeze page tips. And then I might even want to change. These photos don't really match what I'm doing here, right? This is a targeted squeeze page, so I might want to change this to maybe a picture of take a screenshot of a website with a squeeze page on it and stick it right in there, or even build one or take one of my own and do that. Maybe remove that photo, or actually I'll put it back, and you can play around with it. So you get the idea here. Starting with just a nice little template like that, I could put the action steps that are right here into another little text box. Let's say instead of having that picture there, I could put a little text box in there. Move it right down into here. Paste that in. And then just resize it a little bit here. Move that photo as well. Create a bit more space. Now, you can tell that what I'm doing here is a bit of a stretch. I'm not going to be this careless and sloppy with my work, but this is really just to show you. Let me bold that. Let me just to kind of show you that with just a little bit of work, either using Microsoft Word or Pages, you could take just one out of 52 tips from a single piece of content here, and then export this little guy here, this one pager, as a PDF, and that has a higher perceived value than versus just sending somebody a chunk of or block of text. You could take this little PDF and put it as a download somewhere in your membership site, or as a little thank you to your subscribers saying, hey, thanks for being on my list. Here's a quick little report on building a highly targeted squeeze page with a little intro and some action steps that you can try out today. So that just goes to show you with just a little bit of creativity how you could use just one little piece of content from this. Let me go back to, I'm going to close down my two instances of Pages. Actually leave the one open now. Now let me go back to this folder here. So if you remember, this PLR product is called Build a Following University. There are 6 main folders. The first one is a fundamentals folder where I showed you there's a 52-part autoresponder. I talked about how the fact that this autoresponder is already in a document, so we could sell this document. We could take each piece of the 52 chapters of this document and make them individual PDFs that look really nice. And you could easily outsource something like that on Fiverr or even on a larger outsourcing site to save yourself the hassle of doing it while you focus on doing bigger things. And then you have 52 mini reports that you could send to your list, which is, again, it's a different perceived value. You could have somebody on Fiverr read these and turn them into 52 little mini audio updates, or combine them together to make an audio book. That's another way you could use that content. But again, with a product like Build a Following University, you've only tapped into just one little piece of the overall content package here, and you're targeting a topic that's going to be evergreen for quite a long time. There's going to be so many new business owners over the coming years that want to increase their online exposure, and what that really means is they need to build a following online. Well, you can start by teaching them these fundamentals. And then once they get into sort of the basics of, hey, I want to learn to build a following, I've got to have squeeze pages, I've got to learn a bit about social media and having a website and so on and so forth, then you can take them on a little bit of a deeper trip down these different roads here. So list building is one of the first topics that comes up once people have kind of decided that, yeah, I'm going to put a bit of effort into building my online presence, and if I'm going to do that, then I got to have a list. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you sell, you need to be building a list at all times and then engaging with that list. So here you now have a whole different product, this list building product, where you can grab premium content. So here is an ebook right here. It's called the List Building Guide. And if I open this guy in, well, that's the images from the List Building Guide. Let me shut that down. Here's the actual PDF, so let's open that up. So you can see here there's a list building guide, and it covers all kinds of stuff. Basics of list building, autoresponders, how to get people to sign up, your sales pages, using surveys, hosting webinars, contests, QR codes, using Facebook, Gmail tabs. You're going into all kinds of topics that people who have never built a list before, they're going to be feverishly taking notes, wondering what they're going to do next. And this is great because you can immerse them in the education, and then you can break it down and turn this into a multi-part course. So this guide itself can be your intro, saying, hey, you know, my name's Sue, or my name's Joe, and I've got this introduction to list building. I really want you to read this. And they do. They go through this entire PDF, and there's some images and stuff in here, but it'll ultimately have your branding somewhere inside of here because this is PLR. So you'll make sure that you have footers and links back to your site. Then you could take this entire document and expand on it. You can expand on a whole section on autoresponders, or a whole section on how to get people to sign up for your list. You could buy other PLR that goes deeper into those topics, or you yourself, if you have some experience doing this, could share some of your own case studies. And this PLR package really just becomes a door opener for you to go deeper and create your own offers. So that's another little example of how you could take this PLR package and make it your own, but also use it in an ongoing basis for content. So that's the list building guide. Now, on top of that, the list building product itself has a web capture section, or web content section, I should say. And in there are 10 web publishable articles, as well as an infographic, slideshows, and pre-made tweets. These 4 subfolders alone is a ton of content that you can start doing a lot of work with. So as an example, 10 web publishable articles. These are articles that you actually have the rights to put these up on your blog, or put pieces of them up on Facebook or on article sharing sites, or rebrand it, put your own company logo on there, put your URL, put your name and title or whatever else, your credentials, and then put this up on Docstock or Scribd.com, which is a great document sharing or 2 great document sharing websites that create great backlinks to your website, and that's great for SEO purposes. But also imagine if you, earlier I showed you taking an article. Now this one's just a plain article with text. But imagine taking this and doing that same thing I showed you earlier, where you take a really nice template from Pages or Microsoft Word, where it's got different color schemes and might have some photos, and all you do is take this little simple article, but package it up in a nice little template and rebrand it as a report. It's, again, it comes down to perceived value. You can make this simple article look a lot nicer, and then when you distribute that to your prospects or your customers, they're going to appreciate it because you've taken time to make it look nice. The content itself is already high quality, and you've just distributed it in a way that maybe they haven't seen before. So instead of being just a plain text-based article, you've just done a little bit of work, 5, 10, 15 minutes of work, and spiced it up. So all of this PLR, again, it comes back to the fact that you have this baseline of a ton of raw materials here, and there's no shortage of what you can do with it. The infographic. Infographic is, I'm going to need to actually open this with a preview here so you can see the full scope of it. And I'll kind of bring it front and center. Hopefully you can see this with my screen recorder. But here's an infographic about 5 steps to building an email list. And it goes 1 through 4 with cool little graphics and text inside. But here's the thing. We provide you, in this PLR package, we provide you with the PSD, the Photoshop, and PNG version of this infographic. So your designer, or yourself, if you know Photoshop, you could go in and all of these pieces that you see, all of these elements, the text headers, the little graphics, the arrows, the text inside of here that explains the concepts about list building, are all fully editable. You can change it to your own wording. You can add your own messaging. Let's say you want to reference a case study of your own, and now this infographic is completely branded to you, and it has examples from your world. You could use the Photoshop or Fireworks or any kind of image editor here to change the background. So then instead of being a white background with gray accents, it's green with with dark blue accents, or black, or burgundy, or whatever matches your branding. That's entirely up to you. Just to get an infographic built can cost you a lot of money. So it's not just about the infographic itself, it's about what you can do with this. And it gives you tons and tons of flexibility. You could take pieces of this infographic, use your little screen, what's it called? On the Mac, it's an art clipper tool where you could basically just take a picture of your screen, and I could have pictures 1 through 5, and I can have these little images that I now share on Pinterest with little tips about list building. So you're not even necessarily using the infographic as is, you're using it to create your own little images that you then share on social sites or on your Facebook page. So again, lots and lots of creativity can be injected here. And that is just item number 2 here. The rest of these products kind of do the same thing. The list building product is very similar to the social media product, where it has an ebook, it has infographics, it has articles. This paid traffic one, same idea. Google Hangouts, same idea. That's a really hot topic. There's tons of trending keywords right now just for Google Hangouts and business owners wanting to learn how to get on this platform and use it properly. This PLR product, when you combine the ebook and the articles and the infographic, gives you tons and tons of baseline content that you can use to really get creative and get in front of people that want to learn more. And then finally, this add-ons folder. Here's another great example of tons of content that you could repurpose for your own. There is, I want to focus here on the social media presentation. There is a PowerPoint deck as well as a social media video. And then that video has actually been transcribed as well into an 8,000 word, it's already scrolled here, sorry, an 8,000 word social media basics document. This is actually a really good baseline for a training program. If you do any offline consulting, or if you're working with people that are brand new to internet marketing, which is still a huge segment of the market, this is an awesome eye-opening guide for them to really understand how social media works. And it goes from the concept of myths. So instead of saying here's what you do in social media, it's here's a bunch of myths that you might be buying into that you should no longer buy into, and we're going to explain exactly what social media is really all about and how you as a business owner should be looking at social media. And you can see here it's a 25-page guide. Again, really powerful information, great beginner content here. Sell it as an ebook, break it into pieces, all the stuff I mentioned earlier, all the same stuff applies here. So with just this one PLR product, Build a Following University, you're looking at, I don't even know the final number, but there is a spreadsheet somewhere. You're looking at a ton of content that over time you're going to need as input to different projects that you're running. You're going to have different funnels that you want to set up for different courses or different customer bases that you want to work with. Whether you use all of this now or just some of it now and some of it later, a PLR product like this can last you a really, really long time. And if you get in a good habit of taking content like this PLR package or any other good PLR that you've purchased, and using it to its full potential, merging it into videos, creating audios, creating really nice looking reports, you can have a massive amount of content that really sets you apart from a lot of your competition. So I hope this little brainstorm has helped you here. It's used the Build a Following product as just as an example, but like I said, apply this to anything you have right now PLR wise that's customizable, and you have a ton of ideas you can run with. I hope this has helped you. Let me know if you have any questions.